everybody, and welcome to the FTW Podcast, the wrestling world in all its laughable glory. My name is Harrison, and with me, as always, is Joe. Say hello, Joe.
Hello, people. How you doing today?
Rob. Say hello, Rob.
Hello, my name is Rob, and I'm one of the hosts of the FTW Podcast.
Tonight, we got a special guest. We got James Hornsby from BotchSpot.com. Say hello, James.
Hey, everybody.
And Garvin is manning the boards. Tonight is episode number 133 and is coming to you live on September 25th, 2012. And on tonight's show, we talk Impact Raw and how I am essentially bottoming out in the draft. If you're new to the show, check out theftwpodcast.com for more about us and how to get involved in tonight's show as well as upcoming shows. Facebook, voicemail, text message, email, all those links and information was listed right there, so check it out, ftwpodcast.com. But first things first, we gotta talk the draft. Week 6, I'm dead last, and the fact that Cena's elbow has essentially exploded really does not help me. I really think I'm cursed because last season Orton was injured, or not injured, he was stoned essentially. So I lost him, and then now Cena, my supposedly number one points gainer, is now gone, and so here we go, week 6. Top 5 wrestlers are Sheamus, Orton, Sin Cara, Ryback, and Jeff Hardy. Our truth are tied with 20 points. Sheamus has 36.
Whoa. Did you say what? Jeff Tardy?
Yeah, Jeff Tardy.
Yes, you did.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that you did say that.
Yeah, Jeff Tardy, because he's late, like Lee. Hi, Lee. Okay, all right. Top 5 teams. Hey, no. Hey, no. Whatever, because he's in first place, and I don't want to hear him gloat. So 81 points to him. Mike's in second with 60 points. Radio Under the Influence, great podcast, is up to 48.5. OK Fabe has 41.5, and Scott is at 39.5. But it doesn't matter because Team FTW is at 310 to the team listeners, 245.5. And yes, this is actually, thank you, chat. This is actually what I was going to bring up. Here's the thing. Because I have the kiss of death, I was going to start asking people who I should draft next season so we don't have to see him anymore. Chat's right off the back saying I should draft Hogan. So what I'm going to do is next season, I want to take suggestions from the live chat, from the listeners for next season, who I should draft. So that way they all get injured and whatever, and they don't show up on TV. So Hogan is definitely going to be one of them.
Harrison, you need to draft John Cena like 5 times.
If I do, he's going to retire.
Not complaining.
Yeah, RVD got dropped. Chris Burrington traded in for Joey Ryan. McBrad's picked up RVD by dropping Alex Riley. RKO, basically the team listeners are really getting desperate here. Traded Caitlyn back to get Heath Slater because that's a solid pick. Way to go, RKO Voices. Only 6 people have a positive win-loss average. RKO Voices is the only listener. I've only had 8 matches. There you go. Garvin's had 2 more. Buddy has 10 points more to his name. Bound for Glory, which is on October 14th. That's actually going to be our halfway point. 3 teams only have 1 trade left. 4 have 2. Only 6 out of the 16 teams have yet to make a trade. 3 of those teams are in the top 5. So it seems like you pick a good team, you stick with it. And if you can, it's good for you. So that's it. I'm at the bottom. I don't know. I mean, what the hell do I do now? I mean, because one thing Mike and I were talking about last Sunday at the pay-per-view was dropping Cena for Devon. Because they're bringing the TV championship back. Maybe he'll come back? I don't know. If you guys have a suggestion for it, leave it on our Facebook page. I'd love to hear what I should do to basically move up at all. Now we're going to move on to episode 132 reaction from our channel. Here we go. Postremo Guides. Anyway, Edge's mic work was terrible. You said I said that? Did I say that last week? I don't remember saying that.
You did.
You did say it. And Harrison, get out of here is what he also says. So, bye, Harrison.
Bye.
Violet RSC says Ultimate Warrior never said Hulk Hogan. That's a compliment misconception. What he actually said was Hulk Hogan. He actually put up, if you check our YouTube channel, Violent RIC put up a few different ways he said it. Basically he said, while Hardy as a heel is bad for business for TNA, I loved his heel run. The thing is, it was so drug influenced that they won't and shouldn't go within a square mile of it. Although he did love the whacked out super villain character he was putting together, and that was his hands down favorite Hardy. I can kind of agree with that. Hardy had a really good heel run when he was a heel, but
the problem with it though was it was very forced, and he could not deliver a promo to save his life, heel or face. So I mean,
there's no difference between Jeff Hardy, heel or face. He still spits random gibberish. The only difference is that in one phase the crowd cheers him and almost starts a riot, and in the other phase the crowd cheers him slightly less.
Yeah, but at least he's not sitting in a hot tub when he's doing those rants.
Well, yes, but
why did you do that?
But if the only measuring stick we're using is his brother, that tells you how bad things are.
Yeah, really.
His brother's a better worker.
Yeah, he also said he noticed that Wade is being announced from Preston, and he loved it because that's where he's really from. He's not from Manchester. From TVTrax, that one dude, 675. This is, man, we talked about the tag teams, whether or not Kane and Daniel Bryan are good for the tag division. And before we go into this, James, I want to kick this to you. What do you think? Because, I mean, you weren't on last week, but what do you think now? I mean, Kane and Daniel Bryan, are they good for the tag division?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, you all made good points and everything, but I just don't think that anything beats that it's in the main event now. Well, like, there's always tag matches in the main event, but like the actual team is in the main event, and you're seeing more tag teams pop up, and at least people are talking about it. And I think that matters more than like that they were two big single stars right before this. So that's kind of how I feel about it.
No, that's fair. I mean, the one problem I had with and I'm only gonna say this because hashed it over last week. The only problem I have is that it seems like everybody, you have two camps. One that either just like the idea that the tag belts are getting used, and then the other camp that are like I'll call them the tag team hipsters, that think that the only time you can be a real tag team is if you make a name for yourself at another company and then come in, and then now you are an official tag team, and that's the only way you can win the belts. Talking to Rob. Anyway.
You know what, Harris?
No, go on, Rob. What do you got, buddy? Bring it on.
Really? You're the... Okay.
You can...
This is Rob.
No, Rob, go ahead. We don't want to get people confused. Rob, go ahead.
This is Rob talking right now, just so Joe doesn't get in trouble for what I'm about to say. You can come into a company being a tag team, not without having made your name in another company or something. Generation Me came into TNA as a tag team. Were they the best? No, not really, but they came in as a tag team. The Motor City Machine Guns came into TNA as a tag team.
So
Team
good.
3D
No, they came in separately.
Did they?
Yes, they did.
Okay, well,
Your
scratch
money.
that.
Regardless, they made early on they got together and they made their mark as a long-running tag team.
Right. And you've got the Dudley Boys came into ECW. They were another one. They formed and they decided they were going to be a tag team. You don't necessarily have to come into a company as a team. It's possible to do without having made your name somewhere else. But the difference is they decided to become a tag team. They decided to focus on tag team wrestling as opposed to taking two random main eventers, throwing them together with a shitty storyline and just saying, here, look at this. We've got two main eventers. Pay attention to the tag team division that we don't give a fuck about.
Yeah, and music went downhill after the 60s, too. When Lennon died, it was just all downhill. Anyway, that one dude, 675, said pushing by trade tag team guys would help the division that would stay together for years. Then we'd have something good for the tag team division. He's specifically talking about primetime players, which I don't think there's anyone on this show who isn't huge marks for them.
No,
James?
I think...
Yeah, I love them. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, I think everyone on the show loves primetime players. Nick Money said Kane and Bryan on TV weekly and can expose other teams. Yeah, that's another good point. However, that's not where they're going with it. As this comment was made before Monday, and that would have been a great comment, a great argument for it. And then Monday happened. Shimuchkai said tag team division has been shit for like 10 years before D-Bry and Kane came along. Now he actually doesn't go to the toilet when the tag team is on TV. This is like when Karma was in the Divas division. Everyone was really excited. Ryan Powell said these people... What?
I'm sorry, did I say that out loud?
Yeah, you did, but I do actually agree with that. For drawing attention to the tag team division, I get it.
Yeah,
I mean, Rob, I agree with you. I said it. We said it for about 14, 15 minutes last week.
And we'll say it for 14 or 15 minutes more this week.
Exactly.
Yeah, pretty much. I've never said that their bit isn't entertaining, and it's getting people to watch. The problem is this going to be a long-term thing? That's where my only bitch is.
Well,
yeah, that's fair.
The major concern I have with it is it's not necessarily bringing attention to the tag team division. It's bringing attention to Daniel Bryan and Kane. And WWE has to walk a fine line between making sure tag teams get exposure and just kind of covering the tag team division up with, bullshit. Like, okay, here, we've got this pretty little picture to cover the big hole in the wall.
Well, hang on, though, because I want to bring this up. Undisputed Fight Club kind of addressed this exact point on Facebook, or on YouTube. Who said, nobody complained about the Rock and Sock connection, and this is basically the same thing. It's a comic relief, odd couple pairing team. It's just repackaged into an anger management storyline. I hope he's really wrong with this, saying that it's going to set up a Charlie Sheen tie-in down the road. I really hope you're wrong. He said, but here's the thing. Short term, no. Long term, this will boost the tag teams to a level they can credibly hold. If they can, basically, this will boost the real tag teams to a level if they can credibly hold the tag titles by beating teams like Kane, Daniel Bryan, or Reyes and Cara after the build-up. After these guys get people excited about the tag division, pass the torch to the primetime players, which I think is a fair point. The problem is, as we saw in Raw, they're not really that interested in that.
And here's the big problem with referencing the Rock and Sock connection. How long were the Rock and Sock connection together?
2 months.
There you go. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It's short-term Band-Aid. I mean, you could kind of... Because let's be honest here.
And when the Rock and Sock connection were together, WWE had a strong tag team. There were strong tag teams. The tag team... It wasn't that the Rock and Sock connection was being brought together to try to hold the tag team together. It was just, hey, here's a comic team to go up against some of our other tag teams that we've got.
I don't know. At the same time, though, I don't think it was better when it was on Kofi and Truth. I mean, I don't think... I can't speak for anyone else, but personally, I was not excited by the tag team division then. I didn't really care. It was just them feuding with the same two other teams over and over again. At least Daniel Bryan and Kane, it's more interesting. I hope they feud with primetime players and have a good long feud, but it's just more interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of similar to what Jiggity Jack said, saying that Kane and Dana Bryan are funny as hell, which they are. But the division needs legitimate teams to look like a threat, not just two guys who are single stars, but basically they can't get any sort of feud for them. Basically, B&B, the game, kind of echoing that, saying that they are a couple of the WWE. They seem to be the only ones who have brought life back to the tag division. It seems like a lot of people, Kid Lou, ZX, that they've been kind of saying that, it's funny, it's entertaining. But long term, a year from now, we're not going to look at this and say rejuvenated the tag division. Even from our chat is saying Team Hell No is a breath of fresh air for the tag division. The division will mean hugely less when those two leave. Maybe if they give Truth and Kofi half the storyline they did DDB and Kane, it would already have been there. That it would have been similar to how it is right now. I think that's the point. I think the thing is, my point of view looking at it is I look at it going, great. They've set the kindling. This is great. This is going to be exciting. It's just what do they do with it? And all of my arguments that I made last week are mute because as we saw on Raw, they're not going to do anything that everybody's saying about, basically they're not doing anything that we suggested about, bringing in legitimate tag teams, building the division around this. They're like, no, we just got these two guys. Now we're going to get two other guys together, and that's going to be the feud. So that's how it's going to look. One thing that I do want to bring up is ZX said, this is just a comparison between two different eras of tag team wrestling, and to make the comparison, it really just isn't fair. Do you guys think that's accurate? Do you think we're in a different era of tag team wrestling, and this is kind of how it's going to be, at least exciting wise? Or do you think that it's kind of derivative when you look at guys like Primetime Players and things like that? Well, Joe, what do you think? You were the one who you and I were really going at it last week. So what do you think when it comes to this?
It's a very valid point that we are in a new era of tag team wrestling. And, looking at Raw, and I mean, maybe we're jumping the gun discussing stuff that's happened on Raw and SmackDown. But, they're throwing a lot of more teams together all of a sudden. So maybe this is an attempt to rejuvenate the tag team division. And if it is, I do say good on them for that. But I think at this point, I think the people in our generation, our current generation, the late 20s, early 30s, and even into your 40s, those people remember the 80s tag teams when you had bona fide tag teams who were together for a very long time. And then you get into the late 90s, early 2000s where you have start to get more thrown together tag teams, a lot more singles guys who come together to be a tag team. And maybe this is the blending of the two, but I still want to see that hardcore, two guys who are a tag team and they are the business together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that point. James, what do you think?
I guess when we define it this much, it gets hard to tell what qualifies as a good tag team. Like Primetime Players, they weren't together always, and and I don't know. So I guess at some point, I don't really see the difference between. I guess it's maybe for length of time between Kane and Daniel Bryan and Primetime Players, and Justin Gabriel and Tyson Kidd, which. By the way, what's with their night jogging gear? Did you notice that the bright yellow?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're trying to play off the NXT thing. Maybe I really have no idea.
And James, I think part of the problem a lot of people have with the singles guys coming together to be a tag team. It's not normally a big issue, but when the WWE got in the habit of sticking two guys together, then using their tag team as a way of jumping them off into singles feuds again. Within a couple months, I think that's where a lot of the problem developed.
Okay.
So, what they did, now it was an actual tag team together, but Crime Time, when they split them up too soon. Eminem split up too soon.
Mm-hmm.
You get these moments where you have, we don't have anything for these guys to do, so let's split them up. What's the point of that?
No, that's fair.
And it was almost too formulaic. 2 months are up, you're broken up. Then you get a tag team like Miz and Morrison that lasted a good couple of years and worked really well together and really helped invent those two guys for their singles careers. So, what can you do?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I'm just happy that they have a name, a tag team name.
Lee, you've been kind of quiet. What do you think?
I think it's the best they've been for, I'm going to say 4 or 5 years. The tag team division is now up there. It's now in the spotlight. And Bryan and Kane are really, they play off each other really well, and they're making some good segments between them. So I have a feeling they're going to keep going. I have a feeling this is going to last until at least the end of the year. And then maybe you might start to see it dropping off towards the Royal Rumble, focusing more on WrestleMania.
Okay, that's kind of what we're all worried is going to happen, but that's probably what's going to happen. Rob, what do you think? Mr. TNA, Mr. Tag Team division is so awesome in TNA.
I think tying into that, I think honestly it depends on what company you're a fan of. As Joe mentioned, for a while now, WWE has been in that. It has been in this new era of just taking two people and throwing them together. Some people, like Miz and Morrison, it really worked for, and it really helped define them. For a lot of teams, it doesn't really work, and it doesn't do much. TNA has a much stronger tag team division, in my opinion, and TNA still kind of functions like what we saw in older days of the WWE, what we saw in WCW. And I think that style tag team wrestling can still be, it can still work and it can still be effective if the company's willing to get behind it and if the wrestlers are willing to work with it.
Okay. No, that's probably, I'm sorry, go on.
I'm not sure if TNA does have a better tag team division. I'm really not, because I think they're struggling.
You're really not?
I think they're struggling. they've not got two now. They've lost a couple of teams. They've not got many teams that have been together and been there and worked together now. I think that they've just kind of come and thrown. Chavo and Hernandez have just come to. Yeah, okay, it's a nice fit, but they've just thrown them together.
No, Lee, Rob, you got to face it. Lee has a point. I mean, Motor City Machine Guns are gone. Beer Money is split up. I mean, a lot of the mainstays. When we talked about how great TNA Tag Division was 6-8 months ago, those were basically your mainstays, and they're gone.
Hey,
now.
Rob, look at one of TNA's premier tag teams, the Robbies.
Actually, they're not one of the premier tag teams.
Rob, we know how much of a fan you are of them. You don't have to go on anymore about how much you like the Robbie.
Let's take a look at something, because I can refute some of these stuff.
Real quick.
Kurt Angle and AJ Styles. Now they're back together and doing well. Hernandez and Chavo, yeah, they've just been formed together, but they're doing really well together too. Kaz and Daniels have been tag team partners before. They work well together. I still think TNA has a stronger tag team division.
Yeah, but you've just listed to me 3 tag teams, and 2 of them were thrown together.
When? Which 2 were thrown together?
You got Chavo and Hernandez, which were thrown together, and before that, AJ and Kurt Angle were literally. I know they've been a while, but they were at the start. They were thrown together.
No, they weren't just thrown together. They were part of a stable, dude.
Yeah, they were. Yes, but but essentially, they were just 2 individual guys who came together. They weren't like a full-on tag team.
And they actually were a full tag team for a while.
But they weren't. They didn't form like that. They formed not exactly how they did in WWE, but on the similar lines.
No, I think Lee's got a point with Kurt Angle and AJ. But I also think Kurt Angle's got a foot up his ass because, he comes out where they come out with the T-shirts for Kurt Angle. It says wrestling is not a team sport, and then all of a sudden he's in a tag team. So I don't know.
I'll admit that's embarrassing for Kurt Angle.
All right. So speaking of
wrestling's not a team sport, except with my partner over here.
Speaking of AJ and Angle as a tag team, let's jump over to Impact. Rob, they started the show and basically booked for Bound for Glory, AJ, Angle, Hernandez, Chavo, and Kaz Daniels. Regardless of the match, because it doesn't really matter at this point. I mean, this is basically 6 guys who historically aren't. Here we go, 6 guys are throwing together a tag team. Whatever. I'm not interested in the hipster tag team argument anymore. But this looks like it's going to be a pretty freaking stellar match at Bound for Glory.
Oh, hell yes. A triple threat tag team match? God damn, that's going to be awesome.
Especially with these 6 guys.
Yes. I mean, the 6 guys in the ring know each other. I mean, AJ Styles, Kurt Angle, Kaz, and Christopher Daniels know each other very well. Chavo Guerrero is a very experienced wrestler. He's getting to know TNA. Hernandez has been in TNA for a while. He knows the people involved. And all 3 teams have great chemistry and are really working well together with each other. This is going to be an awesome match.
Oh, yeah. So the other question I wanted to kick out to you guys is, so Shaq is the special guest star of Impact. He's in the opening segment, and then we don't see him anymore throughout the entire show.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I think he was dreaming of his feud with Big Show.
Well, I don't understand why they hyped it when he was in a recorded set. What the hell was up with that?
I know what they did. They put him in the they put him in the first segment of the first hour, first slot, because TNA do not get ratings in the first hour. So the idea is you will tune in, see Shaq, and you will join, and you'll keep watching through the first hour and eventually through the second, see if he does anything else. But he didn't.
He didn't even show
up. It's very cynical, but I'm going to side with Lee on that. I would not be surprised.
I'm sorry, Rob.
That was the thought behind it.
I'm sorry, Rob. I've got to tell the truth sometime.
Well, no. I mean, the ratings don't lie. I mean, TNA historically has trouble drawing people in during the first hour. I'm not going to make excuses for that.
I like the idea
the ratings for TNA have never really been high. It doesn't affect the quality of the show they're putting on, though.
Absolutely.
I like the idea here that Lee is implying that Rob keeps Lee from speaking truth to power. Like Rob is censoring Lee somehow, and Lee's like, "I'm sorry, man. I just call it like I see it. You can't slow me down anymore."
Fuck you, Rob.
USA, USA.
Really? We're starting this again? Really? We're gonna go again.
If you're looking for the stupidest argument, Lee, I had to throw it in there.
All right.
Huh?
Here, look, we got to move on. There's the two big elephants in the room that really I don't understand, and I want to kick this to you guys. One, gut check. They got Evan Markopoulos on there. What is he?
Congratulations. Pronounce the name correctly.
Yeah, I get that name correctly. I don't get anybody else's.
Does he hang out with Joey and Danny and all the rest of the family? DJ and the Olsen twins?
Here's the thing. That was his match. He didn't do anything. He had 10 seconds of offense, and then they just squashed him. I mean, he made Douglas Williams look like a beast. I mean, he did a great job of that. But I mean, can you really? Basically, my point is, I don't even think you can actually make an opinion on this. Can you? Can you even say if you can or can't sign him? You didn't see him do anything.
Well, first and foremost, before I get to that, I want to point out that having watched this match and knowing a little bit about Douglas Williams, I think every gut check match, every male gut check contestant has to fight Douglas Williams.
Yeah.
The man's, he's a veteran. He's very skilled. I believe he's actually trained wrestlers before, so he knows how to work with young, inexperienced guys. He's perfect for the role. Mm-hmm. Now, getting on to Markopoulos, I think with somebody as young as he is, 18-year-old kid, granted he has 5 years of experience, but he's still 18, is very young. I think what TNA tried to do with this match is they tried to push other aspects of wrestling. Okay, tone down the offense. Can you sell? Can you get the crowd behind you? Can you take a beating? And he excelled in all of those areas.
All right.
I see potential there. I'm not sure if he should be signed.
Yeah.
But I see potential.
Yeah, Chet's saying he's 18 and skinny as a rail. He could do with some time in OVW. I mean, James, what do you think? I mean, can you really form an opinion on this kid?
No, I don't think so. I mean, when they first announced this, I was doing gut check to begin with. I was so excited, and well, not so excited, but I was interested. Now have any of the winners even shown up after winning gut check or being signed?
I believe that the winner. I believe that if you quote unquote win and you get a contract, you go to OVW for development.
Yeah, and there have been segments, no matches.
Don't start this argument, James, because trust me, it will go on for a long, long time. I think Rob may just kill me.
Okay, yeah. No, I don't think that's enough time. I mean, yeah, I did not care for it.
Yeah, it was just kind of a match, you know. Anyway, so the other, just two more things, and then we'll go on. Why? This is something that Lee and I were going on with about Twitter. Why? James versus Storm. I mean, Storm versus Roode. Why would you do this? Why? Why would you blow your load on this and not wait for Bound for Glory last week and then again this week? I don't get it.
Were you not watching how they did it?
It doesn't matter, Rob. These guys should not have laid a finger on each other until Bound for Glory. Get that tension up.
No. You are. No. Let me explain to you.
Okay,
Harrison,
real quick. Don't take 10 minutes.
Let me explain to you how to
Oh.
what's going on here. First, you have Roode trying to back out and saying he's not going to fight. Roode has to be forced to fight. Secondly, it wasn't an official match. It was just these two fighting and beating the crap out of each other, which pushes the actual match that you're going to have. The fans ate it up.
No, it didn't matter if it was an actual fight. They've knocked. I was drunk when I was watching this, and even I knew at that time that you cannot have them two beating the shit out of each other because that's why. What is the then appeal of watching a match?
The appeal is you're building the anticipation. You're building the excitement. It's pushing the match. It's called building a big match.
Well,
but no,
I think it was a match though.
It was a match. It just went to no contest.
Yeah, that was what's weird to me about it was that it was just like referees randomly after 10 minutes just like, okay, I'm throwing this one out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why would you? Why would you? You don't see. That's like the biggest. That's one of the biggest matches on your card. Just preview it on a TV show. What?
Twice.
2-3 weeks earlier?
Twice.
Yeah, but wasn't it TNA that was doing that for a while? I mean, this is about a year or two back. Weren't they doing that a lot and basically just giving away their pay-per-views?
Joe, that was the Vince Russo era.
Yeah.
I'm not saying no. I'm just saying that it was happening. I don't care if it was the Vince Russo era or the Ed McMahon era. That's right. I said Ed McMahon. That's right.
Chat says they just threw each other all over the ring and the arena. It ended in a no contest because the ref couldn't control the match. How does that spoil anything? There was nothing conclusive. It's not that it spoils anything. It's just that now it's the tension is there. I mean, look, it's the real tension is in the silence before the bang, and TNA just lost that.
I don't agree.
I agree. I'm really sorry, Rob. I agree because I think. I don't know why they did. It doesn't add to me. It doesn't add tension. I've just watched them beat the living hell out of each other.
Okay,
That's
well,
what do.
Well,
my final argument will be this: watch Bound for Glory and tell me that they blew their load on this past Impact, because I think we're going to get one shit hell of a good match.
I have no doubt we'll get a good match. I have no doubt. But then again, that's me, and I know. And I'm good. Some people aren't good. Some people need Some people need selling. Some people need to actually look at Bound for Glory and say, "I'm going to order that because that's a great rivalry."
Yeah,
I don't need to be sold.
There is one stipulation to this, which is exactly this. Chat's saying that maybe they'll add a stipulation to the feud of Bound for Glory, do something to kind of kick it up a notch. That could be, and that could make it somewhat interesting. But for me, I just think that the real. Like this is going to be awesome comes from the fact that these two are going to be staring at each other, not actually hitting each other. The other thing I want to say before we get out of here is Bully Ray defeating Aries. Does this kind of sound the death knell for Aries with the strap? Real quick before we move on, just give me a quick opinion, like a quick hit, and then we'll move on to SmackDown. Joe, I'm sorry, Rob, what do you think? Does this kind of foretold the fact that Aries is going to be dropping the belt?
Not necessarily. I mean, to me, this kind of goes back to the traditional, before pay-per-view, the good guy gets the crap beat out of him, but, wins big at the pay-per-view. I don't see this as a death knell that Aries is going to lose the title.
Okay. Lee, what do you think?
I agree with Rob. It doesn't mean anything. I mean, you have to make the champion look vulnerable for you to buy the pay-per-view, which goes back to selling, because then you buy the pay-per-view to see if he loses, that's belt or not. So, yeah, don't take anything from this week.
Okay. James, what do you think?
No, I don't think so. I kind of liked it because Aries was just so confident when he called Bully Ray out, and then for him to actually lose that match, I thought it was kind of intriguing, kind of like maybe give him some doubt going up against Hardy.
Okay, that's fair. For me, damn it, Chat kind of beat me to it. The idea of a triple threat match. The idea of bringing Bully Ray, Chat said it, bringing in Bully Ray, Jeff Hardy, and Austin Aries. The only problem with that being, you kind of killed the Bound for Glory series with that, because then basically
Right.
Bully Ray just kind of bought his way into the match, even though he lost. So I don't know. I mean, it just seems, I can get the idea that they would make the champ look vulnerable and everything, but, there you are. All right,
Took the
Joe.
words right out of my mouth.
Two things before we move on from the chat. Storm and Roode brawl, set up for the triple threat tag match at Bound for Glory, and the gut check were pretty awesome. The other thing was TNA fan interaction, like that. TNA fans remind me of the old ECW fans. That's all. But the matches were pretty good during the match. That's true too. That the fans were really involved with the show. It was pretty good. All right, Joe. For SmackDown, what was your favorite thing about SmackDown?
Well, my thought on the Bully Ray Aries thing, since you decided to skip me, even calls out my name and skips past me. What a dick.
I asked Joe.
Let's just go on, Joe.
Yeah, let's go on.
Your opinion,
All right,
please.
all right. I really like the Bully Ray Aries thing. I hope that they have a nice long feud, a lot of DQs and stuff like that for when the title comes up. So it's always in contention, because I think Bully Ray and Aries can put on a great program. That being said, moving on to SmackDown. I'm sorry, not SmackDown. The Daniel Bryan Kane Team LO show. Because seriously, anytime they could, they were shooting right back to Kane and Debray. Yeah, you had Layla beat Natalia. Sandow beat Kane after Kane was distracted by Daniel Bryan doing the "I am the tag team champions" thing, holding up the title. I have to say, I love the neckbreaker by Sandow. I've always liked that style of neckbreaker. It's beautiful. Props to him for doing it and using it as a finisher. It's awesome. I'm enjoying Sandow more and more every week. Brodus Clay beat the Ginger by DQ.
Beat the Ginger?
Yeah,
he's a one-man band. The least you could do is give him the credit he deserves.
All right, so Brodus Clay beat Ron Weasley, Heath Slater by DQ after Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre attacked Brodus Clay.
No, Joe, you're just referencing the fact that when Heath Slater was in the Flippy and Ginger tag team before he moved on to become the one-man band.
That's true. But Lee didn't pay attention to us then.
Thanks. Make me look like the ass.
Just saying, you weren't aware. You I don't know if you were a listener at that point, just before we brought you into the fold. That's all I'm saying. Santino beat Antonio Cesaro, and off goes Oksana. I don't like Oksana. I have never liked her. So I'm interested to see how they're going to develop the Cesaro character going forward.
Yeah, the question I have for you, Joe, is does it seem like whenever Cesaro was in a match, it almost seemed like Oksana. It seemed like when Oksana was trying to distract, it seemed like she was distracting him. Like she would only be doing stuff when he's looking at her.
I don't know. Half the time I don't even think she knows what she's supposed to be doing.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that she's just not getting it.
But I think they need to remove her from the equation for Cesaro and Santino to have a decent match because of the Cobra's mesmerized by her bullshit.
God.
Seriously, this is not Saturday Morning Slam. Piece of crap show.
She'd be mesmerized by your Cobra, though, wouldn't she?
No, it's more like a garden snake.
Lee, why do you always want to talk about Joe's junk?
It's more like a gardener snake anyway.
Is that what you're always texting Mike about?
How do you know what I text Mike? What's it got to do with you, Harrison?
Harrison's jealous of your and Mike's love. So Kane and Daniel Bryan beat Cody Rhodes and Sandow, the Rhodes Scholars, by DQ after a steel chair was brought in. And Daniel Bryan and Kane dropped Sandow with some multiple chair shots, which was beautiful.
Yeah.
And Orton and Sheamus beat Daniel Bryan, or Alberto Del Rio and Dolph Ziggler. And really, if you're looking for a more bland tag team, you can't go much farther than Randy Orton and Sheamus. I'm Randy Orton, and I'm pale as fuck. Yeah.
Chat's saying they should have changed the name from SmackDown to the Kane Bryan Anger Management Show because that was a heavy show. Also saying you should never been disappointed by lack of a group hug in my entire life. That's one thing. Chat was saying it basically Edge and Team Hell No hugging it out. Love that. And they're just. It seems like everybody's just kind of over on Santino. I remember us talking about how great he was and how we hoped that he would kind of make that turn and take a more serious role, but it seems like they're just getting more and more wacky with him. I mean, Joe, do you see anything, or do you think this is basically Santino from here on out?
I hope it's him versus Santino, but I don't like the Oksana. The Oksana thing just bothers me. It really has. That entire aspect has just taken away from what Santino, I think, can do in the ring, because then it became all about the stupid fucking Cobra. So I'm hoping Cesaro and Santino can really give it another month or so, and they can really see what the two can do to work together and finish it up and let both of them move on.
Okay. James, I mean, what do you think? Do you think this is basically Santino's future, or do you see that maybe we'll get something a little more interesting?
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of see this probably being Santino's future, but I don't really see that being such a bad thing, though. I don't really like all the Cobra stuff, probably more than I really should, but kids like it, and I know that's kind of like a evil kids liking things, but really, that it's always been kind of a three-ring circus, and I can sit through 10 minutes of Santino being mesmerized or his Cobra being mesmerized because kids like it, and I just think like, okay, then that's for them, and then I can enjoy the Kane and Daniel Bryan show.
Enjoy the Kane and Daniel Bryan variety hour. Yeah.
I got you, Kane. Dun 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 dun. I got you, Kane.
I just love that stuff. But I wish that was the whole show. When Sheamus and Randy Orton came on, it's just like, give me back to Team Friendship or Team Hell No.
Oh yeah, bring more Kane and Daniel Bryan. Yeah, yeah. I was kind of off on it because it was basically all of SmackDown, but it was entertaining. I'll give you that. All right, Joe. So what do you see SmackDown next week? Do you think they're going to keep hitting on that Daniel Bryan, Kane thing as long as they can to try and basically wring as much money as they can?
I'm gonna be surprised if they don't have the Funketeers come out, like all the little kids come and join in group hugs in the next month.
Yeah, that's that's kind of the big worry that they'll take with that. All right, so now moving on to Raw. Lee, I mean, did it seem like this Raw was kind of rickety?
What do you mean, Ricky? I don't understand American.
Rickety. It was kind of.
Oh, rickety. You said rickety. And...
Oh, I'm sorry. That was probably my thing. It was kind of rickety. Just kind of like they're kind of. They basically know with Cena being injured and okay, my thing is it feels like they're throwing everything possible they can at us to get us to think Punk as a heel and to stop cheering him.
Well, I don't know. I thought this worked really well. Punk and Heyman were all throughout the night were amazing, absolutely amazing. Their heel work is probably better than anybody's anywhere, because they just click, and they are getting boos from the audience. There's still like the little majority who are chanting CM Punk, but at the same time, they're all this show flowed brilliantly, and I thought they were going to be too heavy on CM Punk, but it turned out to be one of the best Raws, at least in the 3 hour segments, 3 hour Raws.
See, I don't want to say I disagree with you because you're kind of right, but the entire time I'm sitting there, I just kept feeling like I was being spoon-fed the idea that instead of having Punk be heel and having us hate him for being a heel, it's almost like they're doing once they brought out once they brought out Foley, it was like, oh, here we go. Now Punk's going to hit Foley, and that's going to be a thing now where it's almost like they're going to have him come out and have you mail in pictures of your mother so Punk can then piss on them on camera in front of you.
No, he'll do it on tout.
Yeah, or he'll do it on tout. That'll be his thing. Does it feel like that's kind of how they're going with it?
No, I don't think you're right. I always thought it was gonna knock down Foley. To be honest, them two had a great exchange. It was brilliant, yes. Really, really good. I thought Foley was going back to do his normal, oh god, here we go again. But he did that kind of Edge promo from 2008 where Edge got Mick Foley in the ring and talked some sense into him about Hell in the Cell. It reminded me a hell of a lot of that. Yeah. But no, I think Punk is. I don't think he's been spoon-fed his heel. He's making small little moves, small little things to recognize, or to make people boo. It's not. I don't think it's spoon-fed. I think you're wrong there. I think people are just not.
No, you're right about the little things up until this week, and then it was basically the entire show of him doing everything he could possibly do to make himself a heel. Now that we got Hell in a Cell coming up, it just feels like now they've basically turned the heat up to 11, and they're like, okay, we got to make this guy a heel. Hang on, James, you going to back me up here, or are you going to go with Lee?
I'm sorry, man. I've kind of enjoyed the ride. I think Punk's really great at what he does. And yeah, I can see when Punk came out when Foley came out and started talking about Punk, I was kind of hoping he'd go on to something else. Actually, it's where he was going to talk about breast cancer, but talking about...
With breasts that big on Foley, it's just...
Starts checking himself for lumps live on TV.
That could happen.
He's got enough lumps everywhere else.
Yeah, I just like the stuff with Punk. And especially if he's going to feud with Ryback next, he's going to need it. He's going to need all the heat he can get.
Yeah, that was my other thing. Lee, what do you think about that? I mean, I know we're jumping all over the show, but Ryback at the end of the show, that's going to be it now. Instead of Punk versus Cena, it's going to be Punk versus Ryback?
Well, I said it last night, and I'm sticking with it. Ryback for me is a tease. They won't do it yet. They can't do it yet. It's simply way too soon. Way too soon. Yeah, it is.
Could this be a tease?
No.
No. Whoa. Let me finish the fucking sentence. Calm down. Could this be a tease?
No, it can't be. No.
All right, next. No. Cena and Ryback against Miz and Punk?
No, because Cena's not here for another, 4 or 5 weeks. What's the point in that? You can't wait 4 or 5 weeks on a tag team.
They only have to come out at the pay-per-view. Ryback can carry everything, and Cena can heal up.
No.
Come on, Super Cena, the dude came back how many months early from that shoulder neck thing? Dude's going to be back in 3 weeks.
He's going to be back. Just the role before the pay-per-view, and he's going to just keep appearing and then shooting down CM Punk. Just Ryback everyone's got it right. It's either a plan B or for me it's a tease or it's plan B. But they would never resort to Ryback versus CM Punk. It won't happen.
No.
Anyway.
Miz. Ryback versus Miz.
Ryback versus Miz. Sorry. But that just happened. Miz got squashed.
Right, but now that he's squashed Miz, he is now a viable contender for the Intercontinental title.
No.
No. I'm not saying that they should put the belt on him. What I'm saying is, if to get such a huge win over a current title holder makes you viable as makes you a possible contender.
Did you say the IC championship?
Yes, I did.
I'll let you off. Okay, I'll let you off. I agree. If he squashed Miz like that, then something's got to go on with that. You can't just beat the Miz so cleanly and so easily. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, sorry about that.
Right. Yeah. So what I'm saying is you push this so that they can do a tag team match at Hell in a Cell between.
It is so much less appealing, and they won't buy it. No.
I'm just saying it would ease the Cena workload if they're going to still have Cena in a match. That's what I'm saying.
It would, but it would not be sellable. Miz is not clicking at the minute for me.
This is where you fail.
Okay. We can. You guys can have your lovers' quarrel later. All right. So Team Hell No. We got a Team Hell No. That's the new name. I think someone in our chat coined that first.
Perfect. Chat hooligans.
Yeah, live chat hooligans strike again. Way to go, guys. And then this is what we were talking about earlier in the show. We were all last week talking about whether Kane and Daniel Bryan will really help push other tag teams like Primetime Players and all that stuff. Nope. We get Cody and Sandow, the Rhodes Scholars. Now, let's not do the whole thing that we did last week and all that stuff. Let's be honest. These 4 guys as tag matches, they will be entertaining to watch. Right?
They will be entertaining to watch. Yeah, they will be, but there's no point getting back into this argument again because it's going to be 2 completely different. They are gonna excel this division. I stick by that.
Okay, well, let's not have that argument again.
Exactly.
But I mean, just leaving out any implications, the program between these 4 guys will be entertaining. James, do you agree, or do you think that Cody and Sandow are too soon, or do you think this is thrusting Sandow in too quick?
Yeah, that was kind of my first thought about it. Was I kind of want to see Sandow do more by himself, but I'm sure it'll be good at the end of the day. Their tag team, and I would like to say, Primetime Players did win their match against Zack Ryder and Santino Marella, who beat Claudio Castagnoli on SmackDown. I totally just forgot his name. Antonio Cesaro. So they're still around. They're still doing stuff. They're still dancing.
Yeah. I mean, Titus O'Neil's still looking great. And because Cena's going to be gone, we got a backup in Darren Young. So, it's not a total loss. So they can get the Primetime Players doing that.
There you go.
Yeah, Primetime Players, hang on. Primetime Players, they showed them watching the screen when Rey and Sin Cara had a match in the 6-man. So they're still gladly focused on them.
It's almost like there's the whole division going on.
Yeah, go figure.
We have a tag division.
Chat telling Lee to eat his mic right the hell now and leave Miz alone.
What for? What do you mean leave Miz alone? What's he done recently?
He shaved.
Movies.
Who said that?
Oh, I don't know. Someone in the chat. All right. So, and the other thing is, Caitlyn said her attacker was a blonde, and then Eve took out Beth because naturally, by assuming it was a blonde, it was the nearest blonde, and decided to attack Beth. I mean,
and that's the same point that I sent out a tweet going, Michelle McTaker.
Yeah, or Kelly was another one that was being kicked around.
Well, if you say it's McTaker, if she gets involved, then you have a Layla versus McTaker feud over. They were a tag team for a while,
and they did, and they kind of had a falling out before McTaker left. So I think Michelle McCool is a viable candidate for that. Although, oh yeah, that's right, she just did have a baby, so I don't know how much.
Yeah, so not quite as viable now, is she?
So she could just enter a Royal Rumble.
Well, she just, I mean, it doesn't mean, yeah, I mean, just
there you go. Everybody got it that time.
Just because she had a kid, I mean, look, okay. Full disclosure, my sister had a kid. She was up and running a few weeks later. I'm just saying, I did. Although, yeah, Garvin did bring this up.
Is your sister a professional wrestler?
Well,
have
no,
you ever had a baby?
Or an athlete of any sort?
No, but she was still up and running the next couple of weeks. I
go.
would imagine an athlete would be able to even rebound faster. Anyway, why didn't we see the attacker footage?
Because they're holding.
I'm sorry, go on.
Because they're dragging out the storyline. They've now got a diva angle and a diva storyline going. They're dragging it out. I'm telling you now, drag it out.
No,
at least until the next
They forgot to shoot it.
Yeah.
They forgot to shoot it.
Nobody cares about the Divas division.
I'm actually with Lee on this one. I think WWE went, holy shit, we have a storyline for the Divas. Let's drag this shit out.
No, it's true.
James, what do you think? I mean, you kind of with the group on this one?
Actually, I thought it was going to be Eve wearing a wig. That shows how much faith I have in this storyline. Was that I thought that Eve was going to have worn a wig to attack her, and that Caitlyn would find it like weeks later in her suitcase. That's kind of what I thought. But I guess it could be someone else coming back, like Michelle McCool.
I mean, don't get me wrong, James. I think you're probably with the correct storyline on that one. Because to actually bring back somebody who might be blonde is preposterous. I mean, who else can we imagine it could be?
Karma in a blonde wig.
Well, she did have those couple of blonde braids,
right? So she just has a lot more of them on, and she clubs out.
That'd be great. Caitlyn could think it's Beth Phoenix the whole time. Every time she looks at Karma. So what are you doing here?
It's Mark Henry in a wig.
Well, here's the thing. Opportunity for new talent, maybe? Someone from FCW?
Mae Young's hand.
Oh, God.
Hey, if Mae Young can come back, at least in a video form, come on.
And she was backstage. And she was backstage last night, so maybe, just maybe, it could have been her.
And the one question Lee didn't answer on Twitter, Lee, do you know what movie they were referencing with the Mae Young bit?
I do know that because Christy Hemme and Kurt Angle did exactly the same thing about 7 years ago now for WWE.
Oh, good Lord.
And what movie was it?
I don't remember the name, but I do know the movie, so fuck you before you start.
Okay, so you don't, so you're not sure. I do know the movie. I do. I recognize it straight away, but I don't know I can't remember the name of it, but I do Harry
remember.
Met you bitch.
Okay. To bring this back to wrestling, chat brought up my guess, which is Natalya, because Natalya and Caitlyn are always facing each other, and Natalya and Alicia Fox had a fantastic match on Superstars last week. So I really think it's probably going to end up being Natalya that they do it. Like we said, they're going to drag it out and everything. All right, so from Raw, we're going to move and ask FTW.
Oh, hang on.
I'm sorry.
This is how much you missed. You missed the Big Show returning.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, all right, I'm trying to truncate time, but sure, yeah, okay, so Big Show comes back, knocks out both Titus and Brodus Clay. Implications for Hell in a Cell? Do we see a three-way match with them?
No.
That's more like a zoo match, man. That's a lot of meat in one ring.
And I've got to interrupt on something else as well. The fact that you haven't brought up Dolphin versus Kofi. What a match.
That was great.
That was phenomenal.
That was pay-per-view quality. Even JR said so right there in the air. I mean, he actually said main event twice as an accident because it was such a good match. Where do you see? I mean, we all know Dolph's going up. Do you see this as a sign that Kofi's going to keep moving on and do some good stuff in the singles division?
Hoping.
I hope he gets frustrated and turns heel. I've been saying this for weeks. I hope he turns heel. He's so bland. Well, in my opinion, he's so bland now. He's lost all appeal to me. Why not turn him heel, give him a little run, see how it goes. If it fails, it fails.
The only problem with that, Lee, is that SmackDown is so heel heavy right now, especially on the mid card. I mean, they got to have some faces in there, and even if he is bland, he still does phenomenal work in the ring. He's got kind of like Evan Bourne syndrome, really great on the ring. Although we haven't really seen him much on the mic. I mean, a little bit, but he hasn't really cut up an actual promo. So maybe he's gotten better. And Lawler interview. All right, okay, okay. I did want to say this. We have to bring up the fact: what kind of man owns an actual throne in his house?
No, every man should have a throne in their house because they drop a deuce into it.
No, it was a real throne, Joe. It was like an actual goddamn throne. Yeah,
well, if you call yourself the king.
And you know what? WWE's got a pretty decent fucking prop team. Because where do you think that came from? I don't know. Austin 316 just said I just whooped your ass. Yeah, it's the same fucking chair, dude.
It's not like they store it at King's house.
No, it's not. But it's a prop because they used exactly the same set for the press conference they did last week.
Yeah, and King Booker, he had that throne too.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
So they used
King William
King Booker.
Nobody cares about King William Regal.
Well, I'd much rather believe that Jerry Lawler actually has a throne in his house.
King of the Ring has sat on that exact same fucking throne.
No, I'm with James, man. I like the idea of King actually owning a throne. Like he is so invested in his character and his identity that he went out to Bed Bath & Beyond and bought a throne. But also at the same time, because Lee's British, I actually believe he lives in a castle and has a throne. So there's that too.
What?
You're British. You all live in castles.
Yes, he lives in a castle with a big throne, but still no dental plan. Okay, so anyway.
And a terrible internet connection, but there you are. And it's drafty. You're British. You live in a castle.
At least we don't have too big of an obesity problem. Moving on.
Hey, I never said I was a fat guy.
I'm just put down.
Ask FTW. For those guys new to the show, each one of us is going to get a 30 seconds to sound off on a topic that you give us and we answer. From our Facebook page, we asked what's going on with Ryback. He destroyed Miz and then stared down Punk at the end of Raw. Are they priming him for an IC title run, or is he Plan B versus Punk if Cena can't compete at Hell in a Cell? First things first, we're going to kick it to Joe. What do you think, Joe?
I already said I think they're going to set it up now for a tag team match at Hell in a Cell.
Okay. Lee?
Yeah, it's not going to be a tag team match at Hell in a Cell. It's a tease for me. It's not Plan B. It's just a tease for intrigue more than anything. Cena will compete at Hell in a Cell. He will go in there and he will compete.
Okay, Rob.
I think I don't think they're going to push anything right away. I think we'll see. If anything, them pushing Ryback against Miz for the IC title, and that'll be about as far as it goes.
Okay. James, what about you?
I think that it'll probably just be a little mini feud for Punk, while Cena's out, healing up and everything. But I don't think it'll lead to anything. I think it's just so Ryback can kind of get his feet wet in the main event.
Okay. That's fair. Chat from basically what was posted on our Facebook page. Kyle said he has doubts that Ryback is ready for the IC title, but he isn't ready. He isn't ready for the WWE title match. He's got the talent, but he's just not there, and he doesn't really do anything 100 other guys couldn't do. This is a really good point actually. He seems like basically a wrestler created in a video game, which is pretty apt. He's gonna be really pissed if Ryback has gold and Ziggler doesn't. Ken said he has, how could he possibly be any good? He's only had 4-minute matches. Robert said, it'd be funny if Ryback wins the IC title from The Miz, and the same night you replace John Cena to beat CM Punk for the WWE Championship, walking out with both titles in one night from Hell in a Cell event. I cannot possibly think of anybody with a more meteoric push than that right there. Ryback walks into that, basically his first real pay-per-view match, and walks out with 2 belts.
If that happens, I'm going to warn you now, if that happens, this is how small a chance it's going to be. I'm going to come over there, I'm going to go to Harrison's house, I'm going to pay off his overdraft, his mortgage, I'm going to make him a king for the rest of the year. If that is just an absolute no-no.
Awesome. Yeah. Can you pay off everybody else's mortgage too?
I'll pay off everyone's mortgages. I will pay off America's debt. I will
Okay.
pay off.
Awesome.
I will get you. I'll get you out the ship personally if that happens.
Lee, that's great, but I do gotta warn you, the show is 1-1 on bets made against us. By the
That's
way,
fine.
we are
That's
still
fine.
owed beef jerky, so I'm still waiting
Yeah,
on
yeah,
that.
yeah, you are.
All right,
That's
so
fine.
no, I'm just saying. I mean, we're 100% right now. Robert said, "Oh, I'm sorry." And Jennifer said, "I don't think he should be stuffed in the main event yet. Although he basically did enjoy him staring down Punk at the end of Raw. But his character is interesting and everything. And it'd be great to see where it goes from there." Steven said it does sound like Ryback could be Plan B for Punk at Hell in a Cell, but I don't think he's ready for that at all. Have him win the IC title and then go on a run with that. This is all right. This is Garvin, our producer, who said this. Not me, Garvin, who said not to play the dig card, but after this week, can we go back to not wanting Lawler back on commentary? So to jump on the hate train, Garvin asks, can we do that? Lee, what do you think? Not wanting Lawler, can we start hating on Lawler again?
I know what Gav means, but it's just he's going to go back. I know what you mean because JR and Cole and JBL such brilliant combinations. But I'm afraid Lawler has got to go back. It's not even an option. He's got to go back.
All right, Rob, what do you think?
Garvin, you're a dick. I think it's fine for us to say that we don't want Lawler on commentary, and truth be told, it's probably better for his health that he takes some extended time off. But I think it's fairly obvious that's not going to happen, and we're going to see Lawler back on commentary sooner rather than later.
I don't know, man. I don't want Lawler back. I mean, yeah, I'm glad he's healthy. I'm glad he's going to make it through. But yeah, I'm not a fan of that, of him coming back. Joe, what do you think? McBrad's 95 in the live chat said, since all the new teams are being created, do we see a tag team turmoil come to either Hell in a Cell or Survivor Series? Might see a fatal four-way TLC match for the tag titles at a TLC pay-per-view event. I mean, what do you guys see here? I mean, do you see a lot of tag team turmoil coming up in the next couple pay-per-views? Joe.
I'm hoping we get to see a triple threat tag. I'm looking toward a TLC match. That's what I'm looking toward. A triple threat tag team TLC match.
Lord, that's a lot of stuff. Okay.
They've done it before, man. They've done it before in some of the greatest matches of all time.
Alphabet soup. All right. Lee, what do you think?
They're not going to do a triple threat TLC match again like they did. No way. They're not going to have a guy like Edge just a guy in general, dive 20 feet from a ladder. No way. No way they will do that.
I didn't say they do that spot, bitch.
Okay, well, take your other picks. They won't do any other spot that they used to do. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think... Shut up, you. No, I just don't. I don't think. I think if they stick to singles matches for the meantime, then they can build and build and build. It'll also give the tag team champions more length because we've been whinging about how long this is going to go. So the more they keep them on that route, the more the chance they've got of keeping the title and keeping it going.
Okay, Rob, what do you think?
No, I don't see anything special coming with the tag team turmoil. I don't see anything special coming from that. WWE thinks that all they need is Daniel Bryan and Kane with the tag team titles, and that magically makes the tag team division great.
Okay, James, what do you think?
Yeah, I kind of think so. I mean, part of that's me hoping so, but yeah, I can see that. I mean, the way that they on SmackDown it ended with all the tag teams around the ring, and even though they got the shit beat out of them, I can say curse words, right?
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
That's my only one, but yeah, I think I can definitely see that happening. Would like it.
Okay. I mean, it's like, oh man, a 4-way TLC tag team match. Oh god, it's like the NASCAR match. It's so much stuff on it. All right. I like it conceptually. I just don't see how you have, other than Daniel Bryan and Team Rhodes and Sandow. I mean, how do you, or Rhodes Scholar? I mean, who else would you put? Primetime players? It just seems like you would have that. They would have that kind of disconnect where you'd have basically 4 guys who aren't traditionally a tag team versus actual tag teams. And then I just think that would make a really kludgy, kind of weird tag match, especially when you start throwing in tables, ladders, chairs, or whatever they want to do, or some kind of gimmick like that. Anyway, Nick from Facebook posted on there saying, Bully Ray posted on Twitter Facebook status of Bobby Roode saying that Roode was basically leaving the company after Bound for Glory. Considering what's going on with him saying he was going to leave and Hogan threatening to fire him and then he backpedaled, whatever, the claim seems kind of meh. But the question is, from Nick, do you think that there's any sort of legitimacy in Roode's Facebook status or Bully Ray's tweet, or do you think this is just a work to add heat? What do you say, Joe?
I could see it's a little bit of both. I mean, if there was a contract that was coming up and there were negotiations, maybe he's throwing a little fuel in the fire, even though he knows that maybe Roode's getting ready to sign.
Okay. Rob?
Yeah, I think it's 2 heels competing for the top spot in TNA, because when you're looking at top heels in TNA, it's Bobby Roode or Bully Ray. That's your competition. So I think it's just like Joe said, throwing fuel on the fire. All
right, Lee, what do you say?
Yeah, it's not legitimate. Don't look anything into it. I wouldn't. It's just Rob said it, Joe said it. Fuel on the fire. Feud.
Okay. James?
Yeah, it sounds like a work to me. I think they just want us to do exactly what we're doing now, talking about it on podcasts and speculating.
Yeah, exactly. And didn't Bully Ray kind of do this a few months ago when his contract was being disputed? He started trying to tease stuff like this to get the fans on his side?
I think that was a bit different, though, because Bully Ray's contract was actually coming up, whereas I think Bobby Roode I'm pretty sure his contract's still got some legs on it.
Yeah, and with Bully Ray, for the longest period of time, Bully Ray and TNA couldn't come to an agreement, so it looked like Bully Ray actually was leaving the company.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the 2 very valid points. Thanks, guys. All right, so Robert on Facebook said, a question always popped up after we watch WWE pay-per-view saying, is this the best pay-per-view of 2012 for the past couple months? Whereas for the past couple months, TNA pay-per-views are consistently outshine WWE pay-per-views. Hell in a Cell is a couple weeks away. What do you think they need to do to make this pay-per-view a breakthrough for 2012? I mean, to kind of basically make a WWE pay-per-view better than how we've kind of been viewing TNA pay-per-views. What do you say, Joe?
Something big's got to happen. It's got to be something big, like they need to have an event where like Edge came out from underneath the ring to attack Taker after Hell in a Cell, where they thought he was a cameraman the entire time. They need something to really make this a standout, like an event to be like, fuck, I can't believe I missed this pay-per-view.
Okay. All right. Lee, what do you say?
Well, I wouldn't just the last couple of pay-per-views, I wouldn't say TNA has outshone WWE, because WWE have actually gone through a couple of decent pay-per-views. But I don't think I think the whole Hell in a Cell gimmick is the selling point. So I think a holy shit moment or something like that would probably draw, but I think the match quality is going to decide. TNA. The reason we're talking about TNA pay-per-views is because the consistency of them has got better and better and better. So WWE just need to keep the consistency going. Good matches, just one little hook at the end that makes you tune in for Raw the next night.
Okay, that's fair. Rob, what do you think?
Throw Foley off the top of the cell again.
Oh, God, why?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He was shattered.
Seriously, I think he's dead on with his point. Good match quality, little hook to make you tune into Raw. I think Lee nailed it dead on, and that's why I pulled that one out of my ass, because I had nothing left.
All right, James, what do you say?
I always feel like I'm a pretty bad judge of pay-per-views, because usually when I see them, like whenever I think it's really good, or at least pretty good, I go online and everyone's just crapping all over it. So, I don't know, probably just if they cut out on all the stupid little segments and the little quick squash matches and everything. That to me, that's what really lowers it in my mind.
No, that's probably fair. Make it a lot tighter of a show, because whenever it feels like they're just shoehorning that stuff in as filler. My thing is, I hope that they never, ever do a musical guest again. I mean, if I have to sit through WrestleMania with that, no big deal. I'll just get up, get some more chips, get some more dip, refill my soda, maybe go to the bathroom, whatever. I do not want to see it on every freaking pay-per-view, and Hell in a Cell is a pretty big one. Great point from the live chat. I want to bring it up or reveal who raised the cage from last year.
Kevin Nash.
I don't even know how people remember that.
Live chat does. Dude, live chat hooligans, man. Nothing gets past them. All right, that's fair. Robert from Facebook also said, this is, I guess this is a pretty good discussion to have. Is Hell in a Cell losing the spirit of being the Devil's Playground? Joe.
If Kane or Undertaker are not in the match, it is not the Devil's Playground.
So that's where you draw the line?
They're the only ones who really refer to it that way. I mean, aside from JR, but that's the Bell's palsy going to the brain. Come on, that was an easy joke to make, and it has nothing to do. Well, I guess it sort of does. Nervous system, but still. No, I think he's the only one who references it. If you don't have the Devil's favorite Devil's favorite son in the match, or his older brother, then
Yeah, that's fair. Lee, what do you say?
I think the Hell in a Cell match itself has changed over the past few. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Because WWE has gone PG, they are now limited as to what they can do inside Hell in a Cell. So yeah, I think it's changed. It's now you've got to focus on. There's different things about Hell in a Cell match which are now compelling rather than go back to 1998, when or 1997 when Taker and HBK had one. It's completely different. So yeah, I think it's changed. But I still think they can push the whole, they can push the whole gimmick of Hell in a Cell because it does work and it will sell because people love Hell in a Cell matches.
Yeah, that's true. Rob, what do you say?
Yeah, I think it's kind of lost its edge. WWE keeps trying to push the gimmick, but I think it's really hard for them to do because with the PG, they're limited in what they can do. So yeah, unless Kane or Taker are involved to kind of still add that edge while keeping it PG, it's nothing special.
All right, James, what about you?
It happens so much now. Like there's so many Hell in a Cell matches that, yeah, I definitely think it's lost that edge. Even when Mick Foley brought it up during his little promo with CM Punk, it kind of just made me roll my eyes. Like, why do they make it such a big deal when I always think it's kind of like the same as the steel cage, except there's a roof on top, and since Mankind flew off the top, it's not like there's been any really big spots like that.
Exactly. It's not like the career-shortening or career-threatening match that it used to be.
I don't know. I mean, when Rikishi went off the top of the cage into the truck full of hay,
that looks more brutal than Foley's. First time I saw that, I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the Hell in a Cell thing. Other than I've never. Okay, first off, Chad's saying. Well, no, I'll bring that up next. I've never been that hot on Hell in a Cell because really, you have basically 5 spots like that you can talk about. And then that is the legacy of Hell in a Cell. That's kind of weak. It's not something like the Royal Rumble, where you have it's this major thing that defines careers if you win it. Hell in a Cell was basically a great gimmick, and it's usually a pretty good match. But really, you have 5 spots that define its legacy, and that's what everyone's kind of going on. And for me, that momentum was lost maybe 2 years after Foley fell off the cage because it was like, holy shit. That was incredible, and now I never want to see that ever happen again because I want to see these guys wrestle for a long time. And look at how Foley's walking. Look how he's standing right now. It's because of shit like that. I mean, do you really want to wish that on somebody?
Yeah.
Go on, Joe.
No, I was going to say that you say it's when we've been saying it's kind of overdone a bit. Here's my bitch, is that it's too much. When they added the stipulation to cage matches that you can win by pin or submission, that was the cool thing about Hell in a Cell is you could win by pin or submission and you couldn't get out of the cage, but you still had the steal. When they added that the pinning thing to cage matches used to be just you got to get the fuck out of the cage. So
right.
To me there's a very little difference between a cage match and a Hell in a Cell. and I think that's a problem.
Okay.
That's a damn good point, Joe.
No, that's a pretty fair point. Lee, you had something?
Yeah, I mean, the Hell in a Cell matches, I completely agree with the fact that it's judged by, the whole memory of 3 or 4 spots that were done. But I think if you look back over the last couple of years, the match quality of Hell in a Cell has been good to brilliant. So the memories of Hell in a Cell recently have still been good, but because of the match itself, they can't really walk, go onto the top of the cage. They've not even used the cage a lot in the past, literally in the past. So it's
they
more
gotta throw them into it.
Yeah, I know, but it's not. It doesn't create the same effect, does it? Really? I mean, unless they go through it, it doesn't really, grab the audience going, oh.
I'm picturing like a cutout line, like from the Looney Tunes, where it's just you throw him through, and it's like this perfect shape of Kane's body as he's flying through. All right, Rob, what do you think? I mean, do you think that it's kind of... I mean, come on, man. 90, 97, 98, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, and I see your point, Harrison. I mean, obviously I had the same thought. I mean, you take a look at somebody like Mick Foley, and the hell he went through at Hell in the Cell is one of the reasons why he's as fucked up as he is. But at the same point in time, you could make the match, for lack of a better term, safer without really... I don't know. I mean, like Joe said, first of all, there's no difference between a regular cage match and a Hell in the Cell match. The Hell in the Cell match was supposed to be this big, career-threatening, career-shortening match.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be brutal and take a hell of a toll on your body. And now it's tamed down. There's really no difference. It's basically a steel cage match with a roof on it.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. It isn't really... Yeah, when you strip away the pomp and circumstance, it really isn't that special. James, do you want to drag us out of here? Because I'm pretty sure the amount of YouTube comment hate that we're about to get from this is going to be astronomical.
Oh,
especially
yeah.
me, obviously. James, you want to say anything?
I don't know. I kind of feel like whenever I watch wrestling, it's really just preying on these people's dreams of becoming these big wrestlers as they just abuse their bodies and will wind up being like fitness trainers in a few years. And I'm just trying to suck whatever joy I can out of that, I'm sorry. I feel like I have to turn heel. There's thunder going on in the background. So.
I completely with that gimmick. I love that idea. That was perfect.
The idea of someone on the show making a heel turn.
It was such a good...
And the fact that you're a guest.
See, James, you're living botch spot now. It's a perfect moment for a heel turn.
Oh, I love those. Yeah, now that we're done with Ask FTW, we're about to go into news. I just want to mark out for a bit how much of a fan I am of your comic. I look forward to it every time it's posted. The great moments for a heel turn. That's the funniest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. You really hit on something there. But my favorite thing about it is when you had the Orton week, and then he went at the end of that and flipped off an entire arena in Montreal. It's like I was telling you on Twitter, it's like the two of you are racing to the bottom with what you can do to Orton, and I think he's going to win.
Yeah, that was perfect. That really made the whole thing. Just doing that. But thanks, I appreciate it. Also, he somebody tweeted him one of the comics, and he retweeted it and said, "Awesome." I don't know if it was sarcastic or even looked at it, but for as much shit as I give him on my website, I totally marked out. It's like, it's on my comic.
So did he actually use your URL, or did somebody upload your comic somewhere else?
No, it had my URL at the bottom, but it didn't link to my website. So
cool.
But
as long as you got a credit somewhere in there, I'm happy for you, because it's tough with jackasses on the internet. But yeah.
I know we mentioned it on the show, and we all found it highly amusing when Velvet Sky left TNA, and you did this comment of Taz crying. Now we'll let the pigeons loose.
Oh, I miss the pigeons.
That was so weird. There's kind of like a moment where, like, 20 minutes before I'm done with it, I just have to stop and, like, it's such an absurd comment. He did say that, right? Like, I had to double check because it just didn't make any sense. I'm like, yeah, he definitely said that. Okay, I can finish it and post it. And, yeah.
Okay, so real quick, I do want to kick this around to you guys to see what you think. Have you seen the ad of WWE Hell in a Cell with CM Punk doing the devil horns and the fangs?
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that? I mean, do you think that this is going to be Punk's new thing, or do you think that they're just trying to cement the heel turn and trying to build up hype for it?
Well, here's my basis for telling you, yeah, it's going to happen. Because Daniel Bryan actually started curling his mustache and tying people to railroad tracks, too.
So you think that's how they're going to do it from now on? They're going to
No, dude, it's totally sarcasm. It's just for a poster.
Sarcasm. Dude, Jesus H. Christ, man.
If you go by the posters of WWE, go back to the Royal Rumble and when Santino was on the poster, then if you really think that, you go back and Santino was going to win.
Punk is going to come out dressed like the devil. I'm just saying that, is it going to be something where, basically, is this going to be how they're going to theme the pay-per-views? Because for me, I like this much better than what they used to do, where they used to have like the classic Fight Night posters and then it had the flashy graphics in the background. I like the idea of them. I loved the Daniel Bryan AJ poster. I mean, that was just beautifully designed.
You do realize they haven't been doing the fight posters in at least 10 years.
No,
the only time you might see something like that is around WrestleMania.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
That's because you have like 4 freaking main events.
Yeah, so that's what I'm wondering. Is like, all right, never mind. No one really cares about
the
design.
WrestleMania card is main events.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So apparently no one cares about design as much as I do. All right, so Chet's saying they loved yesterday's comic, so there you go. There you go, James. Even the chat loves it. Going on to news.
Hey, thanks, Chet. Sorry, I had to hurry and unmute my microphone for this.
No, that's okay. Don't worry. I'm not going to imagine that you're going to be like silently like nodding your head, going, "Oh, please!" Like the peasants, like they matter to me.
Just kind of waving my hand, like, yes, of course they did. Let's move on.
They're also asking when is Brodus Clay week.
I don't know. I hadn't considered that. I toyed around with the idea of like having another week. I had like unofficial Brock Lesnar week, and I don't know if that worked out too well. So we'll see. You may have to do some more with some newer things first.
Personally, I wouldn't go with Brodus Clay week just because it's Brodus Clay, but that's just a personal opinion. Just a personal.
All right, so according to the news, WWE posted an article that talked about what it would look like if past stables were created with today's superstars. They had $1 Million Corporation, Ministry of Darkness, they had the Dangerous Alliance, they had Dudes with Attitude, which I just loved that they brought that one back, The Flock, 4 Horsemen, but really the big one that everybody wanted to zero in on was the NWO, and that had Cena, Cole, McGillicuddy, which I do not understand, Christian Orton, Big Show, and David Otunga. I mean, the only reason let's face it, the reason everyone zeroed in on this is because it's Cena turning heel in a stable, which is like, splooge fest for the IWC. But, I mean...
Are you kidding me? You're going to skip past Dudes with Attitude being the most boring, bland stable there ever could be? Sheamus, Ray, Santino, Khali, Truth, and Kofi? Come on.
Sounds great.
If you're 3 years old.
What if I like 3 years old?
That's a whole other podcast, man.
Okay. We did investigated by the FBI. Let's pump the brakes there and switch it around. What about new Ministry of Darkness? Kane, Taker, Oksana, Mark Henry, Yoshi, and Tensai? Tensai, maybe. Oksana, okay. But Henry and Yoshi?
I like the Yoshi thing.
You like Yoshi in that? Ministry of Darkness?
Yeah. Did you read the bit? I mean, like... If you were to give Tatsu a darker gimmick, like a more evil ninja type thing, then imagine him like as the Shredder. Make him the fucking Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles. Or Teenage Hero Mutant or whatever the fuck they did in England. Anyway, but yeah, sorry, Lee, but. I'm just saying they changed the title. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, I could see it. I could totally see Yoshitatsu being involved in something like that. It'd give the guy a fresh new look and a fresh new angle to go with.
All right, yeah. I mean, I guess that's
he's got the most to gain out of that.
Okay. I mean, I figure Mark Henry just because you get the size thing. Tensai fits with his character. I'm just trying to think as far as not reinventing people, but taking who they are right now and then making just like a quick turn and have them be in these things. I mean, just yeah, they gave reasonings in the article, and I mean that's kind of like the chef explaining their dish, and that's really really easy to do. But for me, I looked at it was trying to think the people as they are right now. If SmackDown happened and Rhodes, Dolph, Barrett, and Bryan came out as the next four horsemen. I mean, the culture shock there. It'd be like cold water being dumped on your junk. I just mind blown as far as what that would be like.
That would be sweet, but I also like the flock. I really do like the flock.
Caitlyn, I don't like.
Caitlyn's a throwaway.
Yeah,
but I mean, Punk, Gabriel, Kidd, Slater, and Kurt Hawkins. I dig.
Yeah, I
that's
like
the best one.
Yeah, I mean, everybody zeroed in on the NWO thing, but that was only because John Cena, just because it was just, Cena turning heel and leading the NWO. I mean, that's the only reason everyone really zeroed in on it. I don't know. They gave explanation for McGillicuddy and all right, but I just think like now, I don't know. Everybody else in that, yes, but McGillicuddy is just such an odd man out. All right, so moving on. Cena is apparently going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, so legitimately we'll see him in 2, 3 maybe. Raw scored its lowest viewership this year on Monday. WWE is reportedly happy with the majority of last night's Raw. Ziggler versus Kingston was taped for Superstars, so look for that. That should be a freaking phenomenal cell match. Report is Vince and Cena have some tension over the injury time. Vince said 2 to 3. Cena said 5 to 6. Cena wants some slight time off, which he does deserve considering everything he's been going through. If you believe it. Vince and the XFL actually trended during the NFL whole debacle last night on Monday. So I'm surprised they didn't mention that on Raw. And ESPN. Yeah, I really wish they would have said something. An ESPN reporter compared NFL to the WWE after that decision, at the end of the Packers-Seahawks game. And I don't agree with that because in the WWE, when the refs make a mistake, it's for a reason. WWE Attitude Era DVD possibly going PG due to Linda McMahon's campaign, i.e. lots of edits and black and white screens during the blood. I don't buy that. I think they would just rather not release the DVD.
Or wait until after the campaign's over and then release it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what the next of the other theory is.
Yeah, it's going to be delayed. I mean, does anybody really buy that they would go through and make that thing PG? I mean, all the expense of that and putting black and white screens, or at least blocking out the blood.
Yeah, I don't think they'd do that simply because then it's not the Attitude Era anymore.
True.
Well,
but
I don't know.
That.
There was a lot more to it than just blood and.
Well, yeah, but the point is, if you go to make the Attitude Era PG, you have to go through and edit out everything that's not PG, the language, the blood, and a bunch of other stuff. So if you do that, it's not the Attitude Era anymore.
All right, James, what do you think?
Actually, I could kind of see it happening because just the way I picture WWE working, I imagine that it's just so many different committees and sections, and the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing, and somebody says, having this Attitude Era video game, yeah, let's put out a DVD, and then someone from a different camp says, well, it can't have anything edgy in it. So that's kind of how I picture it working.
Yeah, but I can see that discussion, but I think the end of it would just be like, well, the cheapest option is to just wait. I mean, there's no reason they really need to release it right now. It's not like everybody's waiting it's not the Blu-ray of the Avengers. No one's going to be excited for the WWE Attitude Era DVD coming out. They'll be like, all right, so we got to wait an extra, 6 months?
Wait for the CM Punk DVD.
I was thinking about the game coming out, the next WWE 13 game that's heavy on the Attitude Era. So it's been doing a big push for that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair too. All right. So time for win, fail.
Women wrestlers aren't getting paid? Why do you do a job?
Here's your win.
You do any job,
and fail
is to fucking get paid!
Of the week.
Wins of the week. Go Joe. What's your win of the week?
I'm going to say my win of the week is showing Ryback at the end of Raw. Only because it's given us so much to talk about. That just sparked this holy shit moment. Are they actually going to push Ryback? Like, what?
Okay,
So, yeah,
piggybacking on
props to that.
Joe, do you think that was Heyman?
No.
Oh, you don't think Heyman pulled that one? He kind of...
I don't think Heyman's involved in any of the booking.
I don't know. There's some of that stuff. Well, maybe. Well, he was definitely involved in Lesnar. That's for sure. All right, that's fair. Rob, your win of the week. Go.
My win of the week is going to be the upcoming tag team match in TNA. The triple threat between Chavo and Hernandez, AJ and Kurt Angle, and then Kaz and Daniels. It's going to be an epic tag team match.
Okay. Lee, your win of the week.
Mine was either the intrigue of Ryback at the end, but that was been done. I'm going to give it to CM Punk and Heyman for some absolutely outstanding work during Raw, especially Mick Foley. That was brilliant.
Okay. James, your win of the week.
My win would probably be the Kane and Daniel Bryan variety hour. I'm sorry, I just love it. But especially Daniel Bryan and Edge, because Edge was my old favorite and Daniel Bryan's my new favorite, and seeing them together, and especially this is kind of like comic book nerd, but the fact that Daniel Bryan actually brought up continuity with Edge being married to Vicky at one point, like to me that felt like someone's recognizing a storyline from over a year ago. That's incredible. Just the whole thing was really great.
Awesome. My win of the week was Bully Ray. Not only did he have a great match with Austin Aries, but he basically, for me, he rescued Impact. It was a pretty mediocre show, except for him. But the great moment for Bully Ray was when, before the match, a fan touched him when they were doing mic work with AA. Fan touched him, and he turned and verbally berated him. Then he kept going down, and another fan touched him. And then Bully Ray turned and saw that it was actually a kid with Down syndrome. And there was like a beat. There was like a one beat where you're like, oh, shit. And then he basically just goes, forget about it, and then just jumps in the ring. That was so slick. I just love that so much that he was able to catch himself, recover, and then move on. It was perfect. And it's just more examples why this guy is just money right now. Chat is saying Divas actually getting a great storyline. James Storm versus Robbie Roode, Team Hell No was also great. The Punk Foley segment, tons of Daniel Bryan and Kane. Everybody loved that. And also saying, yeah, Bully Ray was on fire on that show, hands down. All right, fails of the week. Joe, your fail of the week. Go.
Oh, Alberto Del Rio demasking Sin Cara.
Oh, God damn it. Oh, Joe, I hate you. Bastard. Motherfucker. I honestly thought no one had a clue that happens. Bastard.
All right, fine. Lee, what's your fail of the week?
Hey, thanks a lot, Harrison Dick.
Stand your toes, buddy. Stand your toes.
This is the show for the Lee drops right now. We could just take these little snippets and replay them whenever we wanted. Motherfucker.
Motherfuckers. My fail of the week, Jesus Christ, has got to be, well, okay, it's got to be, I'm going to go back to what we said earlier about giving away too much between James Storm and Bobby Roode, because I think that I personally think they should have waited. They could have dragged it out a hell of a lot longer than what they did and make us wait. So, as far as I'm concerned, they've lost I think they've lost some pay-per-view buys with it.
Okay, so you basically you dropped off a little bit there, but you're saying that because of the that they kind of blew their wad on Thursday, you think that they're going to lose some pay-per-view buys?
Yeah, basically James Storm and Bobby Roode, yeah.
Okay, all right. No, I just wanted to make sure that was clear. All right, Rob, what was your fail?
My fail of the week is Lee saying that that Storm and Bobby Roode was a fail of the week. I thought that was great. If you want to pick a fail from TNA Impact, pick the kind of stupid angle they've started with Terra so far.
Oh no! I would actually say I liked that. I would, if I would give anything else a fail, I'd give Gut Check the fail, because that is just it's now just turning into something awful.
Oh, anyway, all right. No bickering and arguing in the cheap seats. All right, James, what's your fail? James, what's your fail of the week, buddy?
Lot of things to choose from, But ultimately, I guess I'm kind of just saying this because no one else mentioned it, but we talked about tag teams being thrown together, and nothing is that represents that more than Encore. I mean, it's a stable, but Drew McIntyre, Heath Slater, and Jinder Mahal is just kind of like gang together. And it's premature to say that, I know, because they haven't really done anything, but it's just a bunch of fail in the ring. And so I don't see where it's going. I mean, I could pick some other stuff too, but
no, I mean, I think that's fair. And if that's what basically how it shakes out, you're going to be we're gonna call you the Nostradamus of the show. But yeah, that'd be pretty interesting if that's how it shakes out. My fail is if you watch TNA Impact at the end of the show, you'll notice that they tease this thing called MMA Uncensored Live. It's right after Impact on Spike. It's like a live show. They talk about MMA, and sometimes they'll have pro wrestlers on there. They had Batista on a while ago. I decided to watch it just to see what all the hubbub was about. This show is shit.
Harrison.
This show is absolute shit. If you think King was bad, this guy is so much worse. The show is hosted by this guy named Craig Carton, and they had Ronda Rousey on there in the studio, and basically she's a female MMA fighter, and she's actually pretty good. She's rising through the ranks pretty quick. It's clear this guy has zero respect for not only just MMA in general, but his fans and women. He
has less than no respect for women MMA fighters.
God, it's terrible. I mean, this is a guest on his show, and he's essentially not only verbally berating her, he's dismissing her, but he caps it off with, myself, like most of America, sure, whatever, would rather see two women fight who are attractive. And this guy is just a swarmy fucking asshole. I just don't watch the show. It's a terrible, terrible show.
Yeah, I've watched like 2 episodes of it, and then I got sick of it.
Oh, God, he is terrible. If you think I'm bad as a host, this guy is just so much worse. All right, from the chat, Crazed Fan tries to get into the ring. Was a fail, plus he did it during the Ryback match. He's got to be an idiot. So many fails, aces and eights, Cena talking, mid-card belts, what to choose. This is actually a really good one. Cena's injured, might not make it to the pay-per-view, and yet they still book him in the main event and let him get over Punk on Raw. I got kind of a WTF moment.
I got so much shit, but I said that last night as a joke, and I got so much shit for that on Facebook. It was ridiculous. But I got called for saying that last night. I got called a cancer lover last night.
A cancer lover?
Because he's doing the whole Rise Above Cancer thing. I got called, well, clearly you love cancer and you love people dying. I was like, what? What? I was like, I make one joke. Do you know what? I even said at the start of it, I'm only joking here, guys, but Cena was in the main event and he's injured. Haha. And I got my ass handed to me.
Wow, I thought we were bad to you. I mean, we never say that.
Oh, no. I was bad last night.
Oh, man, I'm sorry I had to deal with that. The other one, this is a really good one, and this was terrible. Hogan basically took over Impact like he did the week before, and essentially this week didn't even let the celebrity guest talk uninterrupted, which is Shaq, so I'm not quite as mad about that one because it's Shaq, and he's not exactly, I mean, Kazam. He's not gold on the mic, all right? Even when he's being edited. And this other one was Storm and Roode was a fail, and the whole Miz being awesome thing. No, I'm sorry. They're totally great. All right, so that is it. But first, I want to let James, the indomitable James Hornsby, thank you so much for being on, buddy. Other than botchbot.com, why don't you anywhere else? If anybody wanted to get a hold of you and find out more about your magnificence, where do they go?
Really, it's kind of just botchbot. That's where I keep all my magnificence. I don't know, but if you want to look me up on Twitter, it's at botchspot. I have a link to my Facebook page on botchspot.com, and yes, you can get in touch with me through there. Or, yeah. You
have a Twitter account. It's at botchspot.
Yes. Yep.
It's actually pretty. You don't tweet often when you do it is pretty good. So yeah, you can definitely hit him up on there. It's always great to follow, and you do tweet when you put up new comics. So at the very least, definitely check out botchbot.com. And it updates pretty frequently. It's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right?
That's correct. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, okay. It's been great being on again. Yeah.
Oh, no problem, man. Yeah, happy to have you on whenever we can. It'd be great. And that is it. That is the show. Check out FWPodcast.com for more information about us and how to get involved in the future. There's even a support tab where you can donate, buy merch, as well as link to us on iTunes as well as links to us on iTunes and Stitcher so that you can rate us. We accept no less than 4 stars because we like to hope that if we get enough of those, our parents will love us again. Thank you everyone in the live chat Hooligan Strike Again. You guys are awesome. We record every FTW podcast episode on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. I am contractually obligated to say that because Lee is on the show. At
right.
Yeah, I know, I gotta say it. You're on. When you're not on, I don't say it. I'm very happy for that. At FTWlive.com. See you guys next Tuesday.